Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. I think we're going to get started here. First, I'd like to begin by recognizing the city of Thunder Bay is built on the traditional territory of the Ojibwa people and the Anamki Waju, also known as the Fort Williams Nation, signatory of the Superior Treaty of 1850. We also recognize the contributions of the Métis to this area. This relationship of the municipality with all Indigenous people is a priority for City Council and an important part of the fabric of Thunder Bay. I'd also like to thank all of the dignitaries that have joined us this morning. I'd like to welcome Kevin Holland, Minister Kevin Holland, Mayor Ken Boshkoff from Thunder Bay, Mayor Wendy Landry, Councilors Christopher Oliver, Casey Atrini, Trevor Tuga, and Rajni Agarwal. So thank you so much for joining us this morning. Maybe just to get started, I can give everyone a little bit of a background on the project and the history of what we're up to here in Thunder Bay. The idea of turning wood fiber into diesel has been around for a long time, for 100 years. It's not a new process. The big issue has been historically that it's not competitive with petroleum products. But the Germans did it during the Second World War when they couldn't get access to petrol. The South Africans did it during apartheid when they couldn't get access to petrol. The traditional processes have used sort of a gasification process called Fischer-Tropsch or a fast pyrolysis oil. And those processes are very high heat, multi-stage, high-pressure systems. And so the bottom line is that the economics of it have made that making fuel out of wood is 2 to 3 times more expensive than petroleum fuel. But a number of years ago, I got to know my family's from the forest products business on the East Coast, and everyone was looking around, what do we do with the future, with all this wood fiber that we've got in Canada, this big wood basket, with the secular decline of the pulp and paper business. And I got to know a group of guys that were have been working on this project for decades now. And I'd like to recognize Anders Mockfist, who's here this morning with us, who's well known in the pulp and paper industry, who really designed and pioneered this process with a group of other gentlemen, and Anders patented the process. And he's well known in the pulp and paper industry. Everyone who's installed TMP refiners in Thunder Bay and every paper mill in North America over the years, and everybody knows Anders, but he'd been working on this for the last 20 years, this process, and he's really evolved what they call a thermocatalytic depolymerization process, and made it much more cost competitive, and really solved the economic problem that is for turning wood fiber into diesel fuel. And so Anders patented the process, and I'd ended up in Toronto a few years ago and was looking for new business opportunities and got to know the folks at Cap Paper at the time. And I wasn't really aware of what had transpired in the forest products business in Ontario specifically. That, at one point there was 23 pulp and paper mills in Ontario, 20 years ago. And today we're really down to 3. But when you saw a log, you get the square parts become the lumber, and then the round parts, the uneven parts, were historically chipped into wood chips, so a big part of the tree went to pulp and paper process, the residuals, the wood fiber residuals. And what's happened is that the sawmills are still sawing the lumber, but there's no place to sell the residuals. And it's become a huge problem across Ontario, across northern Ontario. So I got to know the guys at Cap Paper, and I'd like to welcome Terry Skiffington, who's came over this morning to be with us. And so there's a lot of interest. We think this is a solution for all of the forest products business in Northern Ontario. But we started working with the folks at Cap Paper and realized that with with Anders' process and with the excess of residual wood fiber available in Ontario, and then the demand for renewable diesel and sustainable aviation fuel, that for the first time that the timing had really lined up to really make this all sort of come together. And so I got sort of pitching this idea around the system, and it was I was keen, and I had Scott Bryson this morning who's the vice chair at the Bank of Montreal, who flew all the way up here and got in at midnight. He wanted to be here, he wanted to see this. Has been helping me sort of put the thing together in the background. And we realized that there's a real sort of market opportunity here to start to put the thing together. So the folks at BMO sort of say, listen, you want to commercialize this technology, these are the steps you need to do. And so then we started to look at, okay, we need a demonstration facility. We need long-term wood supply, we need off-take customers, and we need to build a demonstration facility to commercialize this technology. The folks at Cap Paper I said, who's the engineering firm that you use for this? And they said, we use the guys in Thunder Bay, a company called Nordman. And so we were sort of doing a tour. We were driving across Northern Ontario, going to all the little towns, Cap, Hearst, Cochrane, and we make the trip to Thunder Bay, and got talking to everyone and realized that there's no better place, certainly in Canada, to locate a demonstration facility like this. And that's how we really got going. And it was so interesting. So within the first week we were here, Kent Ramsey was at Thunder Bay Pulp and Paper. The government guys, Scott Miller, who's been outstanding, he said, listen, let's call Kent, Thunder Bay. He said, sure, come on over, we got space for you. He took us to a Chamber of Commerce dinner. We met Minister Holland, met the CEDC people, and it started just like that. And it was the most remarkable thing, because you start to go through, and we realized that there's the community here. And then you said, well, you got to go see Confederation College. You got to come and talk to the folks at Lakehead University. You got to meet the folks at Venture Mechanical. And we realized that everything is within, 15, 20 kilometers of here, everything you need to make this happen. The environmental permitting for this site was a huge obstacle, but we were able to operate on Thunder Bay Pulp and Paper's license. And so we were able to move quickly. And things have it's just been green lights. And, the folks at Cribe have started opening doors, and we started talking about where we can get wood fiber for the demonstration plant and the scale facilities. And then we started talking to equity investors, and we met the folks from the BMI group. And they've got a huge reputation right now. They're moving very, very quickly. They've got a lot of momentum nationally. And they're really redeveloping the forest products business. Putting the wood back to work is the motto I keep hearing from them. And they're developing the forest products business not for what it was, but for what it can be, for what the future is. And you take that desire from the community, the market demand, investors, put it all together, an outstanding government partner, and things have really started to come together very quickly, and which brings us to today. And so I couldn't be more excited. So we brought you over here to see this. It's an industrial site. We're sort of revitalizing this wafer board facility. And I have to apologize to the folks at Thunder Bay Pulp and Paper. They told me we were making the invitations for we sent it out, and I got a note back from Ryan Ellard. He said, "It's great that you're bringing everyone over, and it's nice, but can you tell them it's not the water board facility?" So, and I have it on good authority that there's been no enhanced interrogation that's taken place here ever, although you do have to pay your bills on time with Thunder Bay Pulp and Paper. But this is actually the former wafer board facility, but we're taking an old sort of forest products facility and revitalizing it and turning it into something for the future, which through good luck or whatever, it just seems to be an opportune time. You know, the world right now is looking for green, renewable diesel fuel. You know, for anyone that's facing carbon taxes, you can put diesel fuel into your in your existing diesel engine, and you don't have to change your capital cost to become green. And so it's a big advantage there. And then on the airline side, the sustainable aviation fuel. So there's a big pull for this. And then the other thing is that energy independence right now. So, you know, with what's going on in the Middle East and the rest of the world, to create domestic clean supply of fuel that's competitive with petroleum prices, that you know, using Canadian resources and Canadian ingenuity and Canadian people. So it's been a really fun and interesting sort of journey the last year and a half. And the big thing, and most of you here are community partners, and I just really want to highlight what a special place Thunder Bay is. I mean, it's, you know, everyone, we come, you stay at the Delta, and you wake up and you look over Lake Superior, and it's just, the geography's stunning. But there's such a drive and energy and community spirit here, where people are pulling together and they really want to make this work. And I can't thank the folks enough. When I first started to come here, I've probably been here 30 plus times in the last year and a half. And after my third or fourth trip, I'd be going to Nordman to do the engineering, and I wouldn't, you know, I didn't really tell anyone I was coming. And as I was going through through the airport, I'd start to get text messages. Hey, Jamie, I hear you're in town. You get time for a cup of coffee? This is a real jungle beat. Everyone's interested. They're engaged. They want to figure out how to make it go. And so can't thank the community enough for this. It's been Mayor Kevin Holland. You know, and they've been fantastic supporters. When you know, I say, geez, I got this problem. I got this. You know, no problem. We'll fix it. We'll solve it. We'll figure it. We'll make it work. And, you know, call them or text them on the weekends. So just really dedicated to trying to make something happen. So my sincere gratitude and appreciation from everybody. So anyway, I shouldn't talk too more, but first, so I'd like to introduce the Honorable Kevin Holland for now.
Well, thank you, Jamie, and good morning, everyone. I really want to welcome everybody here today. As Jamie's indicated, we have municipal reps with us. I also acknowledge that we have Councillor Bernie Kampoff from the municipality of Oliver Bapunj as a NOHSC board member with us, as well as all the NOHSC board members, representatives from Conn College, the university, CRIBE. As Jamie's indicated, this has really been an all of the community approach to how we got here today. And everybody in this room played a part in making sure that we're doing what we're doing here today. Really want to thank Thunder Bay Pulp and Paper for hosting us today. And, you know, Thunder Bay Pulp and Paper is an anchor facility in our region. It's a hub for a wider forestry operations innovation. It is also vital to our forest sector, which really built Ontario. And it continues to be an economic driver, providing close to 155,000 jobs and generating close to $21 billion in business revenue. Our government, under the leadership of Premier Ford, is proud of forestry's contributions, and we are determined to protect and strengthen this sector for generations to come. Since 2022, we have invested over $355 million to build this essential industry. Under our Forest Biomass Program, the Forest Sector Investment and Innovation Program, and the Forest Access Roads Funding Program. We recognize this is a time of change for the sector, and we're meeting that change shoulder to shoulder with workers, businesses, community leaders, and Indigenous partners. Because protecting Ontario means standing up for the industries and people who power our economy. Ontario is a G7 leader in manufacturing and exporting forest products from sustainable and responsibly managed forests. On April 28th, I launched the Roadmap to Protecting Ontario's Forest Sector, and it is a plan to enhance that reputation and lead the industry to new opportunity and renewed prosperity. Our roadmap is not just a vision document, it is a plan with clear benchmarks over the next 2, 5, and 10 years. We will first defend the forest sector from unfair trade practices, focusing the next 2 years on defending jobs, supporting mills under pressure, cutting red tape, and helping businesses modernize and stay competitive in the face of unfair U.S. tariffs and duties. Second pillar is adapt. We're going to adapt the industry to compete in competitive markets, building on our plan for the next 5 years to help the sector adapt by expanding advanced wood construction, growing Ontario-made biofuels and biomaterials, unlocking new domestic and international markets, and attracting new investment into forestry communities all across the province. And over the next decade, we will grow investment markets and demand for Ontario wood. Our goal is for Ontario to be recognized as the most competitive and innovative forest sector in the G7. That means creating and protecting the good-paying jobs, building more homes with Ontario wood, strengthening supply chains, and ensuring forestry continues to power communities across Northern Ontario for generations to come. Each of these outcomes are grounded in our commitment to protect Ontario workers, resources, and our economic future. Guided by the roadmap, our government is building a stronger, more diversified forest sector, helping to defend our industry as it adapts to new products and technologies to grow competitive advantage and attract investment. This includes supporting companies that are leading in the development of new technologies that improve efficiency, reduce costs, and source new uses for forest byproducts, including the rapidly expanding biofuel sector. Greenwater is one of the companies leading this groundbreaking work, with technology that produces clean energy using mill byproducts and underused wood, turning forest biomass into green biofuels. Greenwater is collaborating with Thunder Bay Pulp and Paper to establish a pilot plant that will refine their technology using the mill's forest biomass. I commend these companies for their collaboration. This project is an inspiring example of forest sector innovation powered by forest sector productivity and supported by a government that is focused on protecting Ontario's economic future. Today, I am pleased to announce that Ontario is investing $5.5 million in Greenwater. This includes $5 million under the Forest Biomass Program, as well as $500,000 under the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund Corporation. This investment reflects our government's plan to protect Ontario by building more resilient supply chains, unlocking new value from our natural resources, and keeping good-paying jobs here at home. Our investment will help the company build this pilot plant where they'll demonstrate their technology's capacity and optimize production to support commercial use. Once this project is complete, Greenwater plans to establish full-scale biofuel plants at key anchor facilities across Ontario. Creating an on-site use for forest biomass will accelerate industry productivity. It will replace transportation costs with a new revenue stream, improving competitiveness. And it will maximize the value of wood supporting our sustainable forest management. And this is exactly how we adapt and grow our forest sector, by turning innovation into opportunity and ensuring Ontario remains competitive in a changing global economy. Our government is investing in this innovation to expand our forest sector and support regional economies. We are reinforcing forestry supply chains and connecting them to biofuel markets in the aviation and transportation sectors. And we are diversifying manufacturing to build a more resilient forest sector, ready to strengthen Ontario's self-reliant economy. Our funding for this $15 million project will help create 3 new jobs here in Thunder Bay and advanced technology that will provide more good-paying jobs in forestry-dependent communities. Under the roadmap to protecting Ontario's forest sector, we committed to using an all-of-government approach to build this industry. Today's investment is one way we're delivering on that commitment, with funding from my ministry's Forest Biomass Program, as well as funding under the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund Corporation through the Ministry of Northern Economic Development and Growth. To date, the Forest Biomass Program has committed over $55 million to more than 55 research, innovation, and modernization initiatives. And I look forward to announcing funding for more projects in the months ahead to advance our roadmap's goal of defending the industry by building integration and protecting regional economies, adapting businesses to compete by reshaping operations, creating new revenue streams, and lowering costs, growing new markets and business opportunity by diversifying the sector with new technologies and projects. Guided by our roadmap and under the leadership of Premier Ford, our government will continue to defend, adapt, and grow this essential industry. We are taking action to establish Ontario-made forest products as a preferred choice in world markets and position the province as a top destination for international investments that will power long-term growth. On behalf of our government, I want to congratulate Greenwater on their continued success and again thank Thunder Bay Pulp and Paper for supporting this exciting initiative. I look forward to seeing the benefits this project will deliver for Ontario's forest sector, our economy, and communities across the province. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much, Minister Holland. Thank you for your great contribution. Also, before we move forward, there's someone I want to recognize, Emilio Regato, who's an absolute treasure in Thunder Bay. I've got to know him, and he's been a driving force behind this in the background. And I got to know him. He's a legend in the pulp and paper business. Everyone knows him. I'd heard about him and got to know him a little bit spending time here, and he's become a friend, but also just fantastic connector in the community. And I think it just goes, you're so lucky to have him here driving with a deep passion for the community to make things happen. So thank you so much, Emilio. I'd now like to introduce Mayor Ken Boshkoff.
Thank you, and it's such a fantastic day, and it clearly shows what collaboration can do, focus with a reasonable, wonderful project, and today really is a day for us to celebrate, and recognizing my colleagues on council, my former seatmate in Parliament, Scott, and all of you, the work team, the union team, the management here, the ministers, Kevin, these things don't come together by one person's efforts. They come together as a community, as a province, and as a nation, and we're all focused. And this is an environmentally sound project. It can only make things better. So give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you, people. Cheers.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Now I'd like to introduce Scott Jackson from CRIBE.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you. Thank you to Minister Holland, thank you to Jamie and Greenwater, thank you to Thunder Bay Pulp and Paper for allowing the Centre for Research and Innovation in the Bioeconomy, or CRIBE for short, to be part of this fabulous announcement today. For those of you that are not familiar with CRIBE, we're a not-for-profit, and our mission is to help position Ontario as a global leader in the wood-based and forest sector innovation space. So that's the development, creation, manufacturing of new products, utilization of new technologies to ensure that we have what we need to enter into new markets with those products. Today's announcement provides an excellent example of how far we can take wood-based innovation and demonstrates that the opportunities in front of us are nearly limitless. This pilot plant will help show that we can use technology to turn surplus fiber into those novel and innovative products that have both domestic and international market appeal. And I went online last night just to confirm the statistics, but when it comes to sustainable aviation fuel, by 2030, if you want to land a plane in the European Union, 6% of the fuel needs to be sustainable aviation fuel. For the United Kingdom, that will be 10% by 2030. So the international market for this product is growing every single day. And this project helps position Ontario to take advantage of that growing market. This project will not only have economic appeal, but it will also support broader societal benefits. It supports our vision for market diversification, and as mentioned earlier, the ever-growing need for energy security. It has the potential to strengthen the forest sector through the creation of synergies with established anchor mills, and it has the ability to create many, many jobs in the north and bolster the economic and social standing of northern communities. This project also reinforces both the opportunities and the importance of cross-sectoral collaboration, as has been mentioned numerous times this morning. And it also falls directly in line with the provincial government's roadmap for the forest sector. So on behalf of everybody at CRIBE, just want to say congratulations, Jamie. We are all incredibly excited for you, and we are all here to help in any way that we can moving forward.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. That's wonderful. So I guess what the order of events, what we're going to do is, well, before we move on, I don't know, I'm really pleased that the Bank of Montreal has come up this morning. It was a big schlep to get up here late last night. The flight was delayed. He came in at midnight, but he wanted to be here and be part of it. Scott, would you come and say a few words just on behalf of the bank for us? I really appreciate it. He can...
Well, I wasn't expecting that, folks, but I'll be brief. At Bank of Montreal, we have a very strong leadership position in forestry as a bank and in energy transition. So when the two come together, that creates a level of interest from a sectoral perspective that is incredibly compelling to our bank, and we're the fifth largest commercial bank in North America. More fundamentally, we back good people, and we're a relationship-driven bank that believes that when you build relationships with good people of both caliber and character, regardless of the business, you have a better chance of succeeding when you have the right people. A good jockey can ride more than one horse, and we pick our jockeys pretty selectively. Those of you who don't know Jamie Irving, I've known them for a long time. I know their family for a long time. They are people who support communities, and they are people who invest and grow communities. From Atlantic Canada, I'm a Maritimer, Atlantic Canadian, Nova Scotian. Thunder Bay is a little bit like an Atlantic Canadian city or community. When I say that, that's the highest form of flattery from an Atlantic Canadian. In that people here, there's a real sense of community, looking out for each other, caring about other people's kids, not just your own. But the businesses that have become national and global leaders out of Atlantic Canada have been investing in communities, treating workers, treating the environment, treating communities well, long before ESG, and sort of a box-checking exercise. It's the right way to do business. That's what you're getting with Jamie Irving, is somebody who has a partner, is somebody who has a long-term interest in this community, and we believe will deliver tremendous leadership to Greenwater and make a real difference. This is not just about sustainable fuels. The broader part of this is building a sustainable economy and sustainable communities in a region that has been hard hit by changes in traditional sectors. So that's it for me. I wasn't expecting to be up here today, but it's when Jamie was telling me about it, I didn't want to miss it. Great to be here in Thunder Bay. It's a beautiful community. My gosh, it's gorgeous looking out at Lake Superior here. It's almost as pretty as Nova Scotia, and which is prettier than New Brunswick, where Jamie's from, by the way, but I don't want to get into the competitiveness of that. But I want to congratulate Jamie and Greenwater. I want to congratulate the Ontario government, the municipality here, and my friend Ken Boschkov, with whom I served in the House of Commons. But on behalf of BMO, we're proud to be Jamie's bank, and we believe in him, and we believe in the future of Thunder Bay and the future of Northern Ontario. So thank you very much for allowing me to be here. In fact, putting me up here when I had no friggin' expectation I was going to be doing it. Thanks, Jamie.
So that wraps up. I believe we have time for questions, Rebecca. So ask the media just to, anybody with questions? If you
Questions, and you want to take a line up the mic?
no questions?
No questions.
All right. Well, thank you for being here, everybody. It's a great day for sure here at Thunder Bay. And thank you, Jamie, and Thunder Bay Pulp and Paper for hosting us. All right.
So I think if everyone wants to maybe curious